Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. National Real Estate Insurance Group, also known as NREIG, creates customizable insurance solutions specifically with real estate investors in mind. And the CEO, Shawn Woedl, even wrote a book about how to build a more successful real estate investment business, and it's called Innovative Insurance. And here he is joining me today. Shawn, thank you for being here today.
Kevin, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome to have you. You wrote a book, but let's talk about NREIG and how did this come to be?
It was actually by accident. I had a very good friend who was the largest nationwide agent in the tri-state area, so call it Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Okay.
Happened to be a real estate investor himself. I was getting into the business. I was new, was just trying to find my way. I was fortunate enough to know him, and that he also gave me an opportunity to help him build this. Out of the gates, we started going to real estate investor associations, REIA groups, which are very, very important in our business.
Sure.
It's where investors go to learn and to better their business. We learned very quickly that insurance was kind of a dirty word, and the insurance industry wasn't responding to the needs of the real estate investor. And the light bulb went off. It was just out of the gates. We said, hey, this is what we're going to do. In 2008, we're going to focus on the needs of the residential real estate investor. And here we are 16 years later as the largest and longest running insurance program in the country. Sole focus for investors, and the uniqueness of our program is being able to accommodate for locations through all phases of occupancy on a monthly reporter, so it's pay as you go, no minimum earned premiums, long-term commitments, it's nationwide, so wherever the investor goes, we can follow.
That's awesome. When I think of insurance, and you said, oh, it's a dirty word for a while, but really insurance is a necessity for investment folks, right? And so why is it so important?
I always say insurance is a transfer of risk, and an appetite for risk for each investor is very different.
Right.
We have investors that come in and they'll call us and say, look, I want the bare minimum. I only want to talk to you if I have to. I'm only doing this because our lender requires it. And we have other investors that call us and say, I want everything covered. I don't want any risk. Do everything you can to help us.
Right.
And everywhere in between. And that's why the NREIG experience is so different, because out of the gates, you actually get a licensed advisor that sits down with you, maps out what your business model is, what your exit strategy is, what your appetite for risk is, certainly what your insurance lending requirements are, so we can accommodate for those as well and meet or exceed those, and then develop your insurance package to fit your needs.
So how does your program meet the needs of real estate investors?
The first thing I think of are the policy terms.
The terms.
Yeah, the way that we built this to be really a cash flow play for our investor clients. So if you rewind to 2008 when we started this, we gathered very quickly that the insurance industry wasn't meeting the needs, and did everything we could to kind of change that, maybe upset the establishment a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to find some insurance companies that felt the same way we did and trusted to partner with us. So if you think about, even to this day, if an investor goes to an insurance agent and has a renovation property, maybe they're acquiring a property, they're going to renovate it for a couple of months, and with the intention of occupying it.
Right.
If that insurance agent they're dealing with doesn't know the space very well, and most of them don't, they'll sell them a long-term builder's risk policy, whether it's 6 months or a year, for a 2-month renovation project.
Yeah.
Most of those are fully earned at inception, meaning when that is over with and you cancel the policy, you can't get any of your money back.
Right.
Because the insurance company wants to collect enough premium to offset the risk they feel they're taking on.
Sure.
You got a renovation, fast forward a couple months, it's done. Now you've got an occupied location that has a whole new set of risks, and you've got to cancel that first policy. If you have any return premium, you wait 60 days to get it back, because insurance companies don't want to give you your money back quickly and buy a whole new policy for occupied. So
what makes NREIG a better option for investors today?
It's 15 plus years of experience specific in this industry, in this niche market that we're in, and partnering with insurance companies that have the same drive and determination we do to provide solutions for the residential real estate investor that are in it for the long haul and are doing everything they can to mitigate risk for our investors.
What's the biggest mistake that investors make when they're insuring their investors, their investor properties?
Yeah, due diligence and not doing that on the front end,
right?
Which could be a couple of things. It could be not understanding, for example, that the property sits in a flood zone, and you get there and you realize that you have to have flood insurance, and how much that flood insurance is going to cost, and how that can really wreck your ROI. Or not knowing kind of what the history of the property is. So working with your resale agent, your insurance agent should be able to help you with that.
Right.
So you can see if there's a history of frozen pipes that burst, or theft, or arson, that can give you an idea of the area. So you can expect to see in the future.
Right.
So you can kind of mitigate that risk and have your agent actually develop your insurance products to help you get around those.
So Shawn, thank you for being here and joining us today.
Thank you.
An awesome interview. And I want to thank you also for being with us today. And I want to make sure that you visit NREIG.com, and that's NREIG.com to get started. Thank you.